Archaeologists may not consider the discovery of a coffin particularly significant. However, when the coffin is related to an event that could rewrite history, it becomes much more significant. The recent discovery of a coffin in Spain is being hailed as a once-in-a-lifetime find for Europeans because it could change European history. Mysterious discovery in Spain. Scientists unearth a coffin that will challenge European history. The Visigoths, the so-called barbaric tribe that would ultimately defeat the Romans and brings down the Roman Empire, were an early Germanic warring people. The course of their wars would ultimately lead them to settle in southern Gaul and then Hispania from the 5th to the 8th century AD. And now, a Visigoth sarcophagus with human remains, over 1,500 years old, has been discovered among the ruins of a Roman villa in southern Spain, reports the Murcia news outlet. The sandstone sarcophagus was uncovered during a 2-week-long excavation led by UMU professor Rafael González Fernández, along with fellow researchers Francisco Fernández Matalana, José Antonio Zapata Parra, and José Javier Martínez Garcia. The 6.5-foot-long sarcophagus is intricately carved with a curving spiral motif. Ivy leaves decorate the lid. Inside the coffin, researchers discovered a set of human remains, with a possible second body laid at the other's feet. The headboard features a religious marker known as a Ta Rho and an inverted Alpha and Omega. Historical sources indicate that it would have signified the beginning and end, symbolized by Jesus' crucifixion. During the Roman era, Los Villaricos was a rural settlement with a large villa. It once encompassed a residential area, thermal baths, and industrial processing facilities for the production of oil, wine, and other goods. Excavations have revealed a central courtyard, mosaics, a variety of ceramics, tile pavements, limestone tesserae of different colors, and coins. This year's campaign was focused on finishing excavating the last 3 burials in the necropolis and continuing with the excavation work of the complex located north of the town. Lead archaeologist Rafael González Fernández tells Carmen Garcia Cortez of Historia National Geographic, per Google Translate. Initially, the researchers thought they'd uncovered a pilaster or rectangular column, notes a statement. Speaking with Charlie Devereux of the London Times, González says, "We weren't expecting this spectacular discovery." According to Murcia Today, the team spotted a Chi Rho symbol carved on the top of the coffin. As Philip Kosloki explains for Alatia, the monogram, also known as Christogram, superimposes the first 2 letters of the Greek word for Christ, Chi, X, and Rho, P. It represents Jesus, or more specifically, his resurrection. After the Romans abandoned the area, the Visigoths moved in, seizing control and repurposing many Roman structures, including the villa in Los Villaricos, per Murcia Today. Sometime between the 5th and 7th century CE, Visigoths transformed the villa's oecus, a large space where the house's owner once welcomed their esteemed guests, into a Christian basilica, reports National Geographic. They also repurposed the neighboring patio area as a necropolis ad sanctos, or holy necropolis. Per the statement, archaeologists conducted the excavation in 3 stages. The first took place in an area that supplied water to the village. The second focused on the so-called pool area, where ancient people produced and stored an unknown product, and the third centered on the town's tombs. The Roman villa of Los Villaricos in Mula is a large-scale Roman agricultural villa on the banks of the river Mula, with evidence of several hundred years of occupation. It is an extensive site, and some parts are still unexcavated. The Los Villaricos oecus, or the triclinium, which was a reception room in Roman villas, had been converted into a space for Christian worship. For the Romans, who were an ever-expanding conquering territorial force, the conquest of the region of Murcia was a pragmatic decision. Their conquest in the region resulted in the defeat of the Carthaginians during the Second Punic War, 218 to 202 BC. There are several simple graves in the necropolis. They have large slabs of sandstone on the top and smaller stones on the sides acting as support. The unexpected nature of the find has brought the municipal department, independent researchers, and students together to delve further into this remarkable find. The tomb in question is also a spectacular find for being a double burial, with the remains of a teenager found inside the sarcophagus and the remains of another teenager superimposed on the cover of the coffin. This isn't especially rare, but what makes this tomb so special is the remarkable trousseaux that were unearthed alongside it. This contains 15 glass unguentaria, 25 tiles from the popular Roman game Ludus Latrunculorum, and a coin from the 2nd century AD. The superimposed burial's trousseau contained 17 tiles from the same game and a few glass marbles. These were incredibly well preserved and provide valuable insight into the lives of young women during this era. The tomb and trousseaux have been transferred to the Museo de la Ciudad de Antequera for further study. While the city of Antequera is most notable for containing Neolithic tumuli, which have been inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the newly unearthed Roman ruins, along with a Roman spa complex near the town, point to the richness of Roman settlement around the Guadalhorce River, as Mayor Manolo Baron points out. The usage of lead in the sarcophagus specifically points to Antequera's importance, as the rarity of lead sarcophagi in the West cannot be understated. This is seen in the treatment of a lead sarcophagus found in Gebri, 11 miles from Rome, found by a team from the University of Michigan in 2010. Nicola Terranato, a professor of classical studies at Michigan, remarked that Romans, as a rule, were not buried in coffins to begin with, and when they did use coffins, they were mostly wooden. There are only a handful of other examples from Italy of lead coffins from this age, the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th century AD. We know of virtually no others in this region. This sarcophagus shows the archaeological power of Los Villaricos and confirms our commitment to the University of Murcia. Local city councilor Diego J. Boluda tells National Geographic, per Google Translate. Undoubtedly, the piece will occupy a preferential place in the Museum of the City of Mula. Researchers say the 42 documented tombs discovered so far have all been arranged around the apsidal space. In that area, skylights decorated with Christian iconography have also been found. They date back to the end between the 5th century and the early 7th century CE. Centuries of climate data from all over Europe and Russia have shown how the climate changed across the empire. How would a sudden temperature drop have affected the health of Rome's inhabitants? Cooling temperatures likely provoked the great westward migrations that changed the history of Europe and brought Rome into conflict with numerous groups. And then, at a moment when it seemed the empire might return to its former glory, the emperor's troops failed to reconquer lost territories. In the year 165 AD, two men lead the vast dominion, Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus. That year, Marcus stayed in Rome, while Lucius left to fight the Parthian Empire in the east. Rome is victorious over the Parthians, but in the coming years, many in the empire wonder whether an excess of violence brought disfavor from the gods. Rome takes control of the Parthian capital city, Seleucia, which is located on the Tigris River and is home to an important temple to Apollo. Initially, Roman troops enter the city peacefully, but then looting begins. So it was the year 165, after 4 years of war between Romans and Parthians in the disputed Middle East. The victories achieved by the Romans gave them access to Mesopotamia, and they were able to sail in several columns down the Euphrates and Tigris rivers to the heart of Babylonia, where the large capitals of the Parthian Empire were located. The largest one was Seleucia on Tigris, a huge city with hundreds of thousands of inhabitants, the equivalent of Rome or Alexandria from the Parthians' point of view. Although it was a cosmopolitan city, its history was mainly Greek. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you liked this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.